Hi, this is Mama Dr. Tochi with today's class on how to know if you are a spiritual practitioner, if you are a naturally gifted spiritual practitioner. Understand that in today's class, what we're going to be looking at is a bit different from that of knowing if you're spiritually gifted, because someone could be spiritually gifted without being a designated spiritual practitioner. In today's class, we're going to look at those whose calling it is to be spiritual practitioners, those who have the calling to help others. So go get your snack, your drink, get your pencil, your pen, your notepad, and we're going to take it away after this break. Thank you for coming back. A little bit of housekeeping. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, I encourage you to click on that subscribe button and also click all notifications so you'll know when I put out new videos like this. Remember to give me a thumbs up because that encourages me to produce more content like this that you're watching right now. If you are a member of the Dr. Tochi family or channel, thank you so much. I so appreciate your financial support, and if you'd like to be a paying member, click on the join button below this video. If you don't see the join button, that means that YouTube does not have that available in your country or region at this time. I also encourage you to read the description below this video to see how to get a hold of me for readings, for personal consultations, to get products and services like our bangles, bracelets, our cleansing soaps, our ritual candles, and things of that nature. You can also read the description below this video to get links to our online courses in practical spirituality. Another quick thing to let you know, if anyone is approaching you using my picture or my name or profile saying Tochi Brown, and they're sending you a friend request on Facebook or anywhere, it's a scam. Those are scammers from Nigeria. I do not send friend requests. I don't even have a profile on Facebook, Tochi Brown. I do not even have a profile. So if anybody is sending you a friend request, asking you to add them or asking you to send them money or to purchase something from them, know that that's a scammer. Most of them are scammers from Nigeria. All you have to do is scroll through that profile and you'll start seeing some strange things up in there, okay? You'll be seeing slaughtered animals and Nigerian money and all that kind of thing, okay? You'll also see the phone number. Also pay attention to the phone number from which they're reaching out to you. If they're asking you to call them, you will notice it starts with a +234. That's a Nigerian number. Okay, I am not in Nigeria. Okay, I don't live in Nigeria. So there's no way I'm going to be reaching out to thousands of people asking them to be my friends. I do not do that. So if there's anyone who's reaching out to you using my pictures, which they've stolen from my Dr. Tochi page, or they're using my name, which they have also stolen, understand that these are scammers. These are scammers from Nigeria. They're after your money, and they will send you scary things. I think one profile they put my name and my picture, and they said voodoo priestess, spellcaster, and so I'm not a voodoo priestess. I'm not a spellcaster. Okay, so all of that is nonsense. If you get something like that, disregard it. Report it to Facebook immediately. All right. Okay, so let's get into today's class, which are signs of a designated spiritual practitioner. There are some people before they came to this earth realm accepted the contract to be spiritual practitioners. They agreed in their contract before this life here that they're going to help other people. Now, what happens? Most of us get here and the problems, the reality of this plane overtake us. And instead of pursuing that calling for which we signed up, we start pursuing other things. We want a career, we want a family, we want money, we want this, we want that. And our spiritual crew is sitting there going, what about us? We're supposed to be doing something here. Why are you doing something else? And the first thing they do with these special breed of people is that they start visiting them in dreams, and they start having all these strange dreams. You have people chasing you around in dreams. You start seeing dead people in dreams. You start seeing crying people, all kinds of disaster going on in the dreams. And you wake up, you're like, why am I seeing all these things? And you're carrying on and doing whatever it is you want to do. What's the next thing that happens? You start seeing obstacles. And then what these people see is that if they are overcoming these obstacles or ignoring these obstacles, the obstacles start getting harder and harder. It is not uncommon for spiritual practitioners to start losing their property, losing their marriages, their relationships, start losing their reputation, their image, their name. It is not uncommon. It's not uncommon for them to lose all their money, for money to get missing. They don't know how they spent the money. They don't know where the money went. It's not uncommon for them to be betrayed repeatedly. Everybody they come across, everybody is really an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? It's like a lot of their relationships, they get betrayed. People are just backstabbing them. It is not uncommon that when they're working, because the work they're doing or the business they're doing is not within that call, that vocation, what they're supposed to do, sooner or later they get terrible obstacles and challenges in those careers or those jobs or those businesses. People will be attacking them for no reason. Even when they're so nice to people, people will still be ripping them apart, tearing them to shreds, attacking them for no reason, betraying them, stealing from them, accusing them of all kinds of things. If they're in business, they'll have people who will buy things on credit and never pay, or they might order goods, their warehouse goes up in flames, or their stuff get burned, so their stuff gets stolen. Someone comes from the back and clears out their shop, and they're like, oh my God, there's nothing left. They may end up having problematic relatives or family members. Some have kids, and their kids are like wild beasts. They just have no way of controlling their kids. All the kids they have are like wild. Even the spouse might be acting like a wild beast too, and nothing goes well. In extreme circumstances, the person might start experiencing bodily harm. I think I've told a story in one of our Sunday classes of a distant relative who was called to be a traditional priest. And he, for years, kept disregarding it. And his business went down, his merchandise went up in flames, and all these other people, and he would be going to all these churches and saying, a prophet should tell me what's going on. So he's going for all these churches and asking people to prophesy. And they kept telling him, look, you're being called to serve. You have been called to be a priest, a traditional. And he's like, oh no, God forbid. I would never do such a thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a this. I'm a one of the chosen. And disaster upon disaster kept befalling him, and he would not budge. And his wife left him, took the kids. He still wouldn't budge. I think he was in some Pentecostal church where they were telling him, it's a temptation of the devil and you will overcome. You will overcome. Don't worry, you're going to overcome. At the end, you're going to be the winner. And so he spent so many years, fighting to be the winner. And eventually he became homeless, which is not uncommon for a lot of people called to spiritual practice who do not answer the call. Homelessness is often present. Yes, it does happen. He became homeless, started squatting with folks and sleeping on people's couches and stuff of that nature. And he still would not give up. And he was like, he and his church folks, until one day he got involved in a freak accident where he lost one eye. He just lost one eye. And so he went to another prophet of another church. And he's like, why? I've been battling this for years. I've lost everything, lost my family, lost my children, lost everything, lost my home. I'm sleeping on someone's floor. And the person said, the spirits asked me to ask you, would you like to lose your other eye? And I think for him, that was a wake-up call. He was like, no. And they're like, okay, if you don't want to lose your remaining eye, answer the call. And so what he did was he surrendered. He submitted to the call. Now he's a very powerful traditional priest in his hometown, albeit with one eye. Okay. And, he's a much older person now, and he's trying to rebuild his life. And you look at that and you said, if he had known, he would have answered that call a lot earlier and wouldn't have sustained so much losses. So that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. People who are called to spiritual work at that level, unfortunately, get a lot of wrong advice because they go to the wrong people to get advice. Imagine that you are a king, imagine that you are a princess, okay? It is your destiny to be a queen, but you're always getting advice from the slaves. How do you think that's going to work out for you? Not very well. You are a powerful priest, a powerful priestess, and you are going to solicit advice about your calling, your life, from people who are less powerful, spiritually powerful than you are. What quality of advice do you think you're going to get? And understand, I'm not judging here because a lot of this action is out of ignorance, not knowing better. But if you have been called to spiritual practice, if you've gone and done a divination, or someone did a prophecy, or maybe your parent told you that they had a dream, or someone told them when you were very young that it is your destiny to be a spiritual practitioner, I encourage you to take that seriously. I encourage you to take that seriously, because as long as you don't take that seriously, the probability of you sustaining a lot of material and physical losses is very high. Very, very high. The other thing also to know is that there are some organizations, some religious organizations, when they discover certain people have been designated as powerful priests, powerful priestesses, high priests, high priestesses, people who are powerful spiritual practitioners, they will not let you know. Instead, they will harness you and use your powers for their religious organization. And what they'll do is they'll give you a title. Oh, we'll make you an evangelist. We'll make you an apostle. We'll make you a mufti. We'll make you a malam. And they'll give you this big title to appease your ego so that you will remain within their religious organization and serve them with your God-given gift. You need to be wise about this. You need to be wise. If you're inside a religious organization and the person's like, no, you can't go anywhere else. You need to stay here and use your gift. You need to be wise. When your creator created you, did your creator say, I am creating you and giving you this gift so that you will go and serve that particular church or that mosque or that masjid or that temple? Where is it written? Go and get an unbiased divination from someone not affiliated with that religious organization and say, okay, here's what, first of all, am I a designated spiritual practitioner? Am I here to be a spiritual practitioner? That's the basic level. And if I am designated, if I am, what kind of spiritual practitioner am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to help people? And you get that information. Understand this again. Not everybody who has a spiritual gift is designated to be a spiritual practitioner. The fact that you have a spiritual gift, you can see the future, you're clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, okay, does not mean that you are a spiritual practitioner. We have to be very clear about that, because a lot of people now, we have Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all kinds of social media platforms. They have one or two spiritual gifts and then they start billing themselves as a spiritual practitioner. But the taste of the pudding comes when they're asked to solve other people's problems. That's where the taste of the pudding comes out. A lot of people are out there billing themselves as the priest of this and the priestess of that and the god of this and the goddess of that. That's fine. Can you solve people's problems? And if you can't solve their problems, do you have a network of other people who can help you solve that person's problems? Big difference. The fact that someone can do a divination does not necessarily mean that the person is a spiritual practitioner. That someone can, maybe read tarot cards, or they do cowrie shells, or they use a bowl or basin of water and do a divination, or crystal balls or crystals or whatever the case may be, or they use sticks or straws or bones, whatever the case may be, to do a divination does not mean that the person is a spiritual practitioner who can solve different kinds of problems. There are different kinds of spiritual practitioners for different kinds of things. There are some who are good with roots and herbs and leaves, things of that nature. There are some who are good at using their hands. They can heal with their hands. There are some who can bless water, pray with water, give you, and it solves your problems. There are some who are good at different kinds of divination and telling you what the solution is. And I'm not talking about the kind of divination that we have in this part of the world, okay? I can, what's one of these fun divinations? I can see you coming into your own, where the forces are parting ways to help you become that into that which you have been called. And what you need to do is decide how you want to manifest your energy so that it is concomitant with the phenomenon that you are experiencing. Okay? Because that's a lot of the kind of divination we get in this part of the world. You are a glorious being whose ascent into the sky attracts negative energies that seek to pull it down. But with your will and your concentration on the essence of your being that called you forth into existence in this realm, that is not a spiritual practitioner. Okay? Spiritual practitioners they will tell you how much personal suffering they've gone through because they didn't heed their call on time. A lot will tell you that. A lot of powerful spiritual practitioners will tell you that when they say something or do something, it comes to pass exactly as they've intended it to be. Some are spiritual practitioners who commune face to face directly with spirit guides. And those spirit guides, those spiritual entities, give them the solution to people's problems. Some spiritual practitioners, before you come, the spirit guide has already told them who is coming, what problem they're coming with, and what the solution to that problem is. Some other spiritual practitioners don't get that information ahead of time. They get it at the point of contact. When you come to them, then that information comes to them at that time and they deliver it to you. Understand? All right? It is not uncommon for designated spiritual practitioners to be visited by spiritual entities or spiritual guides. Because those entities, those guides need to be activated as part of that practitioner's spiritual crew before they can now be fully vested in their calling. So you see, that's different from someone just having spiritual gifts. Oh, I can sense something, I can see something, I have visions, I have dreams. No. Spiritual practitioners usually work with spirit guides or spiritual entities, spirit entities. And those entities or guides have to be activated. There are rituals of activation that happen so that those entities, those guides can be fully working with that practitioner. And the activation happens through initiation. And that initiation happens under the tutelage, under the guidance of another master practitioner. So a spiritual practitioner is not someone who just wakes up in the morning and starts doing their own thing. There's a whole bunch of things that are involved in. Not only are they spiritually gifted, but they're spiritually activated and spiritually initiated in order to be a spiritual practitioner. Okay? A lot of spiritual practitioners, prior to initiation and after initiation, will have prophetic dreams. And those prophetic dreams are more often than not their spirit guides or spiritual entities coming and providing them with certain information. Either more initiations they need to get, more power they need to acquire, more connections they need to acquire, or problems coming down the road that will affect their calling that they need to handle and take care of. So I hope that in this class we begin to appreciate the enormity of the calling of a spiritual practitioner. Some spiritual practitioners work within religious organizations. Some work willingly because that's where they feel they best fit, and some work within other kinds of spiritual structures. There are, like I mentioned before, there are many who have been called to spiritual practice to serve others, but they're unaware. And they're being used by diverse religious organizations. And you'll see them in there as prophets and prophetesses, you know. Sometimes they may not even have that title. Maybe they'll just make them the head of something or the head of the other. And everything they do is for that religious organization. If you feel that you have been called to spiritual practice, my suggestion is, first of all, go get a divination and find out if indeed you've been called to spiritual practice. That's the first step. Get 1, 2, 3, 4 divinations from different people, different sources. And each of these sources, if they do say that you're a spiritual practitioner, should tell you what kind of spiritual practitioner you are, what element you're affiliated with, and how you can move forward if you have not already moved forward in that vocation or that call. Your divination, should you choose to accept the calling, will also lead you to discovering the master spiritual practitioners who can initiate and activate your calling for you. Tell you what you can do and what you cannot do, what to avoid and what to embrace, so that you can fulfill your destiny that you signed up for when you came here. I hope you enjoyed today's class on how to identify if you're a spiritual practitioner. Again, I encourage comments and discussion below this video. Be sure to share this video with other people who will find this topic interesting, and also share my videos, my other videos, with other people too. It's come to my attention, albeit humorously, that some people hide my videos from others because they don't want others to know that they're learning a lot from my classes. So they don't want other people to know that they come here and get information. Please, 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 please share the information. Don't you think that if people around you are privy to the same information that you have, that your relationships with them and interactions with them will be a lot easier? But if you're hiding the fact that you are learning a lot of things in Mama Dr. Tochi's classes and they're not, then don't you see you'll be getting into a lot of arguments with them? Yeah. So please share the videos. I love you. Folks be like hiding me, hoarding me, like the gnomes of the earth. Anyway, we're thankful to our Creator, our guardian spirit, guardian angels. We're thankful to our ancestor spirit guides, prophets, messengers, all those in the unseen realms who have dedicated themselves to enabling us to achieve our destinies.